I love Smith & Wesson. Such a great company. A storied American gun maker. I wish them all the best. I really do. I want them to be very profitable in their ventures in providing us such guns as these. The Smith & Wesson CSX. A new introduction from the company. And let me tell you, it's exciting to see them come out with a new pistol. Not a rehash on anything they've done. Completely new. As far as I know, not following anybody else. They're not Ruger, for instance. Hey, I love Ruger too. I really do. But Ruger copies a lot of makers. They do. We know this. They're the Weird Al Yankovic of the gun makers. One of my TNPPs said that. Oh, what's that? Oh, TNP Patreon. Yeah, they're the reason this gun review exists.
Dead on.
With the money they gave me, I bought the gas, the food, the ammunition to make this test and review possible on the Smith & Wesson CSX. If you want a feature-length review, you're in the right place. 5-minute review? Probably not it. There's probably going to be some of that, especially on Smith & Wesson's own website. They'll come out with it on the CSX, tell you all about it. This is just my take on the gun. All my shooting is complete. Mrs Nutnfancy was my crew member helping me shoot it out in the snowy desert. I did range work. I have opinions. I'll tell you all about it. There are some negative things. I'll tell you all about that. I did not get this gun from Smith & Wesson. I got it from, guess who? Gunnies, a great American gun store. Yeah, their information is below. Also, my other associated store below, Handgun Haven. Both very supportive of what I do here. No money changing hands. I just sign it out via 4473 for loaning purposes, for testing purposes. I turn it back to them. On occasion, I'll buy a gun. On occasion. All right, we're going to get going here. Lots to talk about. It's going to be fun. Let me show you my watches. Guys ask all the time, what are you wearing? And for the tabletop review only, I'm wearing 2 analog pieces. I usually don't Schwarzkopf. I usually don't, but here you go. Check this out. Dude, if you're not into watches, you are missing out. I have created watch addicts. You're welcome. I hear about them all the time. Thanks a lot, Nutnfancy, for the watch addiction. Now I got a gun addiction, knife addiction, and a watch addiction. This is a Momentum Atlas 44, and I asked them to make this size. It was in a 42 millimeter piece. This is a fully loomed face, and they came out with this one, so I was so stoked to see them do that. Great job, Momentum. It's a great company. Love their watches. I'll put a link below, by the way, if you're interested. If you're not, oh well. Be watchless. On this side, I have an Invicta. It's like a Pro Diver series. This is NHM. I modded the hands, put the decal in there. This is ocean tested. This one is not. I modded the seconds hand only on this, so I painted it orange. There you go. 2 watches. Kind of fun. Let's go on with the tabletop review. Here it is, the CSX, ladies and gentlemen of the project. A rare whip sound. CSX P938 mated with a Shield Plus. They came out with a Sig Smith & Wesson CSX. Interesting gun. Very interesting. I'm going to tell you about the features, a little bit about POU, how did it shoot, accuracy, reliability, quirks that it might have, and then I'm going to talk about would I buy it. Oh, let me clear the way for some other guns and stuff. This is, by the way, a Wee Banter. Link below. Fantastic knife. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Ben did a great job designing this. Not a TNP Special Edition knife. Wee Banter. This is a patch from a TNPP, a donor. His name is George Christakos, Canadian. Yes, we'll leave that up there for a while. AV8 Harrier 2. And then we've got the beautiful Bow River by Spyderco. High value 8 Sierra 13 MOV field knife, $42. I hope they're still making this. Should be a staple in their company. I'll send you to Blade HQ for this and this one, Kaiser Begleiter. Yeah, I'll get to the gun review, but guys are into all this stuff. I'm a gear channel, not just a gun tuber. Cool shades, by the way, from Invicta. Invicta shades. I didn't know they made them. They made these shades, and they're super inexpensive. Comes in this cool box, by the way. I need to wear those shooting because they're just so sick looking. Kind of dark though. They're dark. So if you like a darker mirrored shade, no, I don't think they're polarized. I could be wrong on that though. And then yeah, California Sheep Republic. Someone sent me that, so it's up there, and I do agree with that. On we go. Smith & Wesson CSX. What the heck, Nutnfancy? What is it? Well, it is a single action aluminum framed subcompact 9mm, and yes, I know there's a piece missing. I will talk about it. The curse of the desert exacted its toll on this gun. Welcome to TNP. If there's something dicked up with something, I usually will find it. Not always. Usually will find it. Like I said, as far as I know, Smith & Wesson is just breaking new ground with this. And I talked about, I think it was in the Kimber Micro 9 Mini 1911 discussion, I said there is a trend now in the gun industry to make super subcompact guns, but to make them a little bit heavier. Guys are liking this, and I think Smith & Wesson sniffed this trend out. And here's the CSX. So this portion right here, jumping ahead to features, is all milled, I suspect 6061, because it's CNC'd aluminum, not forged, it's milled. Yeah, this whole portion here is metal. Not shiny metal, like we see on watch hands, not this one. It's too awesome. But sometimes we see that. So it's going to be a little bit heavier than you might be used to. And you may like that. And I'll tell you who really loved it as we move along here. I'm not going to tell you yet. 20 ounces is your weight on the Smith & Wesson CSX 9mm, this version. And it is, again, I hate to say high capacity. Let's say higher capacity than a regular 1911. I should say micro 1911. It's going to be a 10 round or 12 round magazine. I think this is the 12 right here. Yeah, so great capacity for its size. The slide is only 0.9 inches in width. The overall width at the fully ambidextrous controls, and I'm going to kind of foot stomp that again. It's a great ambi pistol for you lefties. Hope you listen to that. 1.11 inches in overall at the controls, the dual slide releases. So it is very small, about the size. There goes that piece again. I'm going to leave it off. About the size of, as you know, the Shield, or the Shield Plus would be a better analog for it. Now, I don't have my P938 because Tactical Doodle stole it from me, and he's still carrying it. If I did, I would do a size comparison here. To me, just going off memory, I think the 938 might be just slightly shorter. I could have dug out the measurements, but I don't know if most of you guys will care. It seems overall about the same size as that, maybe slightly bigger than a 938. Philosophy of use. Getting back to that trend, which I've talked about, and that is that dudes and dudettes are wanting something heavier that's still super concealable. The reason I think, and I've said this before, why this is popular is because they're easier to shoot and hit with. A very lightweight pistol is hard to shoot and hit accurately with at distance. Now, if you're at 5 yards, 3 yards, you shouldn't have any problems. If you can't hit at 3 yards, you suck. Suck less. If you can't hit at 5 yards, you still suck. Suck less. Now, you push it out to 7 and getting them in the size of, let me say, well, this patch right here. So let's say this part right here, if you could at 7 yards get them all in with that maple leaf, dude, you're doing good. Really good. And that's what I strive to do. I'll show you the accuracy here. I don't know if I quite did that. My groups are a little bit larger. I'm going to tell you why too as we push along here. Philosophy of use then would be a subcompact pistol that's easier to shoot. That's why. That's why it's going to be popular. Still easy to carry, and I've detected in the market, and I'm not necessarily speaking for myself, but there's a lot of guys that say, hey, I don't really care if it weighs 20 ounces. And that's empty, by the way, of course. They don't care. Some of them are carrying heavier guns already. They're just like, yeah, whatever. So, you know, if it's 26 ounces fully loaded, they're like, that's cool. And that's not super heavy. I mean, keep in mind, guys are carrying 1911s, which empty are 40 ounces, usually 39 to 40 ounces for a steel frame 1911. If you push it down to a scandium frame like Smith & Wesson makes, love their 1911s, by the way. Go watch my reviews on their 1911s. More love given to Smith & Wesson. Yeah, those I think around 32, 33 ounces. This is going to way beat it. And the rounds capacity is fantastic. With the 12 round magazine, like you saw, it's going to be 12 plus 1. So subcompact carry gun that you can actually shoot and enjoy. That being said, the competitive options I'm going to show you, I personally love them. I have a great time shooting them. They don't annoy me at all, and they're just as accurate, if not more accurate than this gun. But there is that trend. I've identified it. How about home defense gun? Sure. I've always said on a home defense gun, I like a rail. I want to be able to put on a light to identify the bad guy. Maybe a laser combination light module like Olight makes. I'll put some links below. Check those out. They're outstanding, by the way. Yeah, like the Valkyrie, the mini Valkyrie. The downside to this one, as you can tell, is they didn't put a pick rail on it. So that's not great. They should have done that. They're going to come out with a Gen 2 of this. I can identify what they're going to do because there's some of my criticisms. I think not just me, but the market will say, hey, great first effort, but we could probably use some changes like that. And you'll see it. But home defense, yeah, I think you could do better. I'd go with the full size with a rail. Here's my, special edition Walther PPQ. First edition, I should say. See, look, pick rail, big old trigger guard. This is full size. Actually, it's kind of a compactish full size. The PPQ, by the way, is now collectible. It's been replaced. Thank you very much. It's gone. So you guys that got the, PPQ, hang on to it. Philosophy of use. Motorcycle gun, it's too heavy for me. Backpacking, too heavy. And I'm being picky with the ounces here, and no apologies. I mean, I'll go super, super light. And for instance, if I go backpacking and I don't need a bear gun, I'll take a freaking LCP2. Yeah, this will dominate this in size and weight constraints, dude. Look at this. LCP2 going up against a CSX. Different caliber. This is a 380. Look at my sweet sight job on that sucker. Awesome. Nothing fancy. What'd you use? Fingernail polish. That's all I used. That's a cool color, by the way. Holy crap, I love the LCP2. Getting distracted. Yeah, not for me, not hiking. Enough with POU. Let's go into features. Okay, I talked about the size, the weight. I'm going to start off with the sights on this one. I love the sights on this model of the CSX. They are non-tritium. They are just 3-dot white. Here comes my mini rant. I'm so glad they went with 2 white dots in the rear. We're seeing now, and I think I have a competitive option that will prove this, that they're blacking out the rear sight. And maybe you love this, okay? And I get that. You go, well, I don't like 2 dots. I just go with a pure black sight. Okay, I don't. I like high visibility on the front and rear. It just helps. Let's go classic. You'll see the black sight be in the market for a number of years, and then just going to go back. They're going to say, what were we thinking? That's stupid. I have trits on these, so I put some aftermarket trits. I think it's because my rear sight on my PPQ is drifting. Now, I'm not sure of the dovetail cut on this, so if you want to replace them, I can tell you this right now. I'll say this right now. This gun is going to be successful in the marketplace. It's going to be successful. There's going to be guys that absolutely love it, and they're going to just buy it, and it's going to have an aftermarket thing come up for it. So maybe they come out with different sights, tritium sight options, TFOs. I suspect that's going to happen. What I hope Smith & Wesson did with this gun is they didn't make it like nearly damn impossible to take out the rear sight. I've done multiple trigger jobs on shields and also M&Ps, and dude, getting that rear sight out is a mother. Very difficult. I mean, I basically almost destroy the rear sight getting out. I don't know what the hell they use. Must be a hydraulic press like 5 stories big. Enough about the sights. They're metal, by the way. And they have a square ledge on it if you want to cock like that. There's a round viewing hole right there for the chamber. Slight serrations on the top of the Smith & Wesson CSX. Great serrations on the slide. And on this gun, I really like the forward serrations. I tended to use either the slide release or these rear ones, but if you want to press check from the muzzle, you can do it. And notice this, it does have a safety, ambidextrous safety. We'll look at that more closely here. But notice that you can cycle it with the safety on. And there are some other guns like that as well. And I think it was maybe Springfield Armory 911. I'm trying to think if you can cycle that with it on. I could be wrong. But that's really cool. Good feature. Ambidextrous slide stop or slide release, whatever you want to call it, and really trim. Look how trim that is. So it only adds just a few micro, fractions of an inch in overall width. Here's your safety. Pretty positive on the CSX. I would like to see it a little bit more positive. The reason is because this is a gun, if you want to carry it ready, you're going to go condition 1. Round in the chamber, safety on, just like a 1911. Completely safe. You just have to use a 1911 carry protocol, and I've talked about it forever. Not going to spend time here. So, pretty positive. I wish it was more positive, though. And I'll give it, let's see, 0 to 5 stars. I'm going to give it a 3. I'd like it to be more positive. Now, one thing I noticed, speaking of being able to cycle the action with that safety engaged, is that out in the desert, in the snowy, cold desert, it was like 25 degrees with Mrs Nutton and myself. When I racked a slide, I caught fabric underneath the slide lever here. So, not great. Is that avoidable? Yeah, don't wear gloves, I guess. Or I just got to where I was racking around with the safety off like we would normally do with a 1911, and then keeping my finger out of the trigger guard and then putting the safety on. Okay, there you go. Your hammer, again, this is a single action only gun, which is A-okay by me. I love single action only guns. Consistent trigger pull, we'll talk about that. Ring hammer, good serration, probably a memmed part. Medium-sized beaver tail. Here's your grip. It's the industry standard, kind of that laser stippling. And this is an interchangeable grip portion here. You can go in your box. I think they have another one in the back, and I forgot the box. Okay, so the traction here is outstanding. Here, we're seeing the metal frame, the aluminum frame. And I think it's aluminum. I should have asked Smith & Wesson. I'm pretty sure it's aluminum. If it was steel, it'd be even heavier. Yeah, so one thing I don't like about it is just a large span of nothingness here. And I'm not a big fan of that. I would like to have this completely around the gun. I know since this is metal, of course, you can't, put this stippling on there, but maybe they could have checked it or something. Say in a comment if you like it smooth like that, if you prefer on your shooting hand to be able to, run your thumb here. What I see when dudes do grip jobs, they're putting stippling everywhere. Remember I talked about the aftermarket emerging for the CSX? This is one of the things you can watch for. There's going to be companies like Talon Grips or A-Grip coming out with a cutout for this portion. It'll just be an applique that you can put right here. It'll wrap around. And I think that would solve the problem. That Smith & Wesson should have done it. Enough of that. Magazine release is reversible. It's perfect. Mag release is fantastic. It just sticks out just the right amount. Right amount, perfect. And then you have an undercut trigger guard, very aggressively undercut. I think the trigger guard by itself is rather small. I mean, I ran gloves like this. They weren't like big winter gloves, but if you had winter gloves, you can probably forget about it. Says Nutnfancy. I don't know if it's going to work because look right here, not a lot of room. Slanted trigger guard. There's no traction on the front. You guys know how I like to shoot. I always rest my index finger there. I put probably a run of skateboard here. Skateboard tape is what I'm trying to say. That takes it to the trigger. The face is narrow. It has a blade-in safety a la Safe Action Glock. Kind of interesting. Very interesting, right? That's kind of cool in that it gives you just an extra measure of safety. So you do have this safety here, which will make it marketable to several states and other locations. And then you have kind of a Safe Action trigger right here. So you have to depress that. One cool thing I love about this, there's several cool things I love about this gun. One of the cool things I love is they didn't put a grip safety on it. Now, of course, that allows them to put an interchangeable back strap on it. Thumbs up. But they just moved it here, which I think is much more streamlined, unobtrusive. Great job. Now let's talk about a bad thing. Covering features. Dude, the trigger pulls very stiffly. In this first generation Smith & Wesson CSX, I do not like it. The best pull I got out of it was 7 pounds, 7 ounces, which for a single action pistol sucks. Yeah, I'm just saying it. It sucks. It's a very stiff pull, and when I went to accuracy testing, I really had to put in some concentration to make it work. Yeah, dude, that is too stiff. The reset is very short and quick right here. Audible, great reset. It just needs to pull it at, I don't know, 5 pounds. I think that's reasonable. If you went to 4.5, I'd like it even more. I don't know if this is a lawyer trigger or what Smith & Wesson was thinking. I think there's going to be some complaints on the trigger. There is one from the Nutnfancy project. I don't like the trigger. It's freaking sucks. Enough of that. All right, so on the front strap, you've been seeing this little piece fall out. Probably can't get it to come out. And what happened is during testing, the retention tab at the bottom in the cold, 25 degrees Fahrenheit, friggin' snapped.
You see that? Hold that, show how it snapped off. I think that tab right there busted. Yep.
So that's a miss. I mean, holy hell. Come on, guys. I mean, this is like just one outing. Come on, that's bad. Now, could I glue that in? Yeah, I could glue that in. It'd be fine. But should I have to as a customer? It's a small thing. I think they'll fix it. At the very least, Smith & Wesson, you should probably give some replacement panels on the front strap. I do like how it provides traction here. And as you can see, I'm getting about 3 fingers on the CSX. So you do have traction here. Taken in conjunction, it's actually a pretty good grip, even without anything on the side. Magazine. Let's look inside. A little bit of funneling going on. The milling of the aluminum frame. The magazines are fantastic. I love them. And I don't love this. The sliding spacer on the 12-rounder. WTH. I mean, can we not anchor that, boys? Why don't you just make the floor plate 1 unit so we don't have to F around with this? This sucks. I'd freaking super glue that. This is my gun. I'd super glue the shit out of that. This is not good. Polymer base plate, easy to take apart. You can see that. And the magazine itself is just like the Shield Plus. They're fantastic. Very positive. There was another gun we were shooting that the magazine kept dropping. It was not this one. It was a different one. Not this one. This magazine release is fantastic. No problems. Let's look at this side. Big ol' external extractor. Same serrations. Ambidextrous control. Remember, you can swap that magazine release to the other side. Lefties. Great lefty pistol. Now, it has a solid guide rod. Stainless steel guide rod here. Big ol' thick-walled barrel. Do I have my... I do. I have my micrometer. Let's measure this. And for whatever stupid reason, I always do it in millimeters. So, just measuring the wall thickness. 2.6 millimeters. That's pretty good. Now, I'm not sure if that's cold hammer forged. It might be. Sometimes Smith & Wesson does that. The finish on the slide itself is called Armory. It's basically a tinifer. Yeah, it's just part of the metal. They're fantastic. They've been running it forever. They had to change the name because there was like a, I don't know, a trademark or something. But it'll last forever. And if it does wear, it's going to look even cooler. And that's features, boys and girls. Features. Did I miss anything? Oh, yeah, the takedown. Takedown is pretty simple. What you're going to do is rack it. They do recommend keeping the safety on, and you're going to retract it to this point right here. See this notch here? And then you take this takedown lever, and this is a little bit tricky, though. I don't really dig this. That button right there, you have to get a punch tool, and that's what kicks that takedown, I should say the takedown pin out, and allows you to pull it out. So you'll pull that pin out, slide will come off, and this is what it looks like in its constituent parts of CSX. Big deal. It's definitely not as easy as a Glock or something like that, or PPQ or some of the other Smith & Wessons like the Shields, but it's not that big of a deal. How did it shoot?
Okay. Safety off. There you go. Good grip. You've been holding it good. Close the air in all those fingers. Remember, good trigger control. Rack it. Let me see this. Okay, did the mag seat all the way? Oh, the mag dropped. Right here.
Our fault.
Okay, rack around in it now. There you go. Cool. There's this one. Make sure you rack that mag in real good. There you go. Hard. It loaded by itself.
I would say it shot fantastically other than the stiff trigger. Yeah, the stiff trigger, we just learned to live with it. Let me show you the accuracy real quick, and I do have, I love that, right on cue. Smith & Wesson's like cringing with this review, like, holy hell, dude, freaking pieces falling off the gun and Nutnfancy giving it a positive review. Well, I'm big picture. I know what's important, what's not, and I know what can be easily fixed. This is easily fixed. So there's an okay group. This is at 8 yards. You're going to see inset video of me shooting. The gun was not magical for me. And by magical, if you've not watched my gun reviews before, magical means I can get them within this maple leaf at 7 yards, standing unsupported, 2 hands. That's magical. I'm going to show you some competitive options that for me personally are friggin' magical. I had to work really hard to shoot this accuracy because of the damn trigger. Here's another group. It got a squiggly mark. That means it sucks. Y'all own up to it. There's 2 shots. Great group. That's a great group. Up arrow. I gave this an up arrow because I had 1 flyer, but the main rounds are right here. There's an up arrow. Not horrible. Not horrible. So this was at an indoor range, by the way, just so you know. I usually do all my accuracy shooting in the desert. CSX target. You're seeing the actual shooting right now. Not great. Up arrow. Not great. I told you it's not magical. Let me, what I write here? Awful trigger, much concentration needed, very accurate. Now, I want to make that point because even though it has an awful trigger, I can detect an accurate gun. What you're seeing is the trigger. It's not the barrel, it's not the lockup, it's not the inherent intrinsic accuracy of the CSX. I rate that as excellent to outstanding. Yep. Yep. One more. God, this target's freaking big. I hate these targets. Here, here, here. That's a good group. Okay, so when I concentrated and really did my part, there you go. 100%. No failures of any kind noted, even with steel ammunition. So I had 100 rounds of Wolf steel. That's not this. This is like jacketed, hollow point, and FMJ. Dude, it was still 100%. Look at that group right there. That's why I know it's accurate. And I was really working hard on that one. Better. I don't know why I gave myself a squiggly mark. That's still pretty good. 8 yards. That's further than 7. That's not super easy. I'll classify the accuracy as excellent. It needs trigger work, though. It totally does. The reliability, fantastic. Didn't have any problems at all. It did not need a break-in, and I've been saying this for a long time, that a concealed carry gun this day shouldn't need a break-in. Nope. Fun to shoot. Yes. Now, let me tell you who loved this gun, and I alluded to this earlier. Mrs Nutnfancy loved it. Let's listen to her right now.
Good job. Awesome. Good job. You like it, huh?
Uh-huh. I like it.
Nice job. Nice job. Would you buy that gun?
Yeah, I would.
I like it.
Yeah, that's nice.
Shoots soft, huh?
Yeah.
Just needs a little trigger work.
Yes.
So how's that? She loves this gun. Loved shooting it. Getting back to my philosophy of use discussion. super compact, a little bit more weight equals, for a lot of people, funner to shoot, easier to shoot. She loves it. Now, would I buy it? For me, if you're asking me, the answer is no, I would not. I can't lie. For me, I wouldn't. Because in the realm of compact, I should say subcompact 9mm pistols, I want absolute lightweight. I want absolute ergonomics. All the stuff I rave about in my other tabletop reviews. This is not absolute lightweight for this size. But for Mrs Nutnfancy, would I buy it? Yes, I would. She'd love it. Your wife, too, may absolutely fall in love with the Smith & Wesson CSX. Or you may fall in love with it. Forget your wife. You're like, oh, I love it. Maybe you can't hit with your Glock 43, your P365. I can't imagine that would be the case, but I don't know. Maybe there's someone out there. And so you might want to look into this, get your hands on one, shoot it, see if it works for you. You may love it. You may absolutely love it. Competitive options.
Make sure you rock that.
Well, I'm going to show you this one. This is fantastic. This is a Sig P365xl. This damn thing is magical for me.
Nutnfancy.
Yeah, it's magical. I just love this gun. And this is hot, coming out of system. What do I have in there? Looks like 124 gold dot. Actually, that might be a 115 gold dot there. This gun is fantastic. I mean, you might go with a regular length P365. This is kind of what I'm after. So now the P365xl, this one is going to be heavier, longer, a little bit harder to carry, right? But longer sight radius, a little bit more velocity, easier to hit with. This is in my neck of the woods. I love this gun. And running a beautiful Czx leather holster, which I bought. They did not give it to me. The best leather holster maker out there, says me. Look at how thin it is, dudes. Look. When you order it, use my links below, Czx. They'll take like 3 weeks to make it because they're making it handmade. They have the guns in the shop, but it's like a small staff. They make it, they'll ship it out. You'll have it within 3 weeks. Here's a little bag it comes in, Czx leather. I searched them out. They didn't hit me up at all. I found it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like the best holster ever. Super easy clip. I wear it on the outside waistband in cross-draw fashion, by the way. Yeah, 365, of course, is still the #1, and I predict will be and remain the #1 selling subcompact 9mm out there, which is remarkable because you have new competition like the Taurus GX4 coming out. There you go. And this is what I was talking about. See how it's a blackened sight? This is a good little pistol. I do have some things to say about it. Watch my review. Watch my review. High value, polymer, really kind of a P365 knockoff, if we're honest. I told you this was a game changer. It is. There's so many people copying the P365. Magazine capacity, looks, trigger. It's a 10-round magazine this one has. It's a good gun. Would I buy this over that? I can't answer that. I can't answer that. Don't forget about the Smith & Wesson, the Springfield Armory Hellcat, also riding in a beautiful Czx leather holster. I think they call this the classic. Yeah, so this is one of my daily carries. I carry the Hellcat all the time. Awesome. So what I'm talking about is answering, would I buy this? No, I like a regular polymer, striker fired pistol over a single action carry. That's just me. That's just me. And maybe you differ. You go, I like condition 1 carry. It's awesome. Or maybe it's not condition 1. You just have an empty chamber and you're going to rack to slide. Okay. I don't recommend that. I think you should be ready to go. Between these two guns, Hellcat. For me. For Mrs Nutnfancy, if I have her shoot these two guns, she'll choose this one every time. I mean, when we went out to the desert, she was shooting this against 5 other guns, and this was her favorite. So when I showed you her raving about this gun, that's not made up. She loved the Smith & Wesson CSX. I was shocked how much she loved it. All right, we're beyond the 25-minute goal. That's sad, but there's a lot to say. This, by the way, is an AKC F16 out the front knife. Pretty sick. If they still make it, I'll put a link to Grindworks down there. There you go. Great effort, really is. This is a first-generation Smith & Wesson CSX. Again, I'm predicting this gun will be successful in the marketplace. I think it will last. It's different. It combines super compact size with double stack magazines. Did I show you the other one? No, I didn't. Oh, here's the other one. So there's the 10 rounder, I think this one is. Yeah, so good magazine capacity, heavier weight, relatively speaking. You have a safety to contend with, no grip safety, in blade safety, great sights, great slide, low bore axis, undercut trigger guard, great shootability. The trigger needs some work. The front strap falling out here needs some work. But those are easy tweaks. I think you're going to see Smith & Wesson fix these issues very quickly. You're going to see an aftermarket entity arise and start providing accessories for this gun. It will be successful, says the Nutnfancy project. There you go. Round of applause for Smith & Wesson, a storied American gun maker. Thank you so much for watching the video from start to finish, for subscribing. Fight back on YouTube's attack against the Nutnfancy project. They are constantly dicking with my numbers. They have demonetized me. They don't show me in any searches when people search out videos in YouTube because they don't like me. So my sub numbers I don't think are correct at all, but fight back. For at least subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you feel so compelled, be a long-term donor. That's right, currently using Patreon, long-term donor in Patreon. Thank you so much, guys and gals who support me in Patreon. You made this review. See ya.